All right, Sundo, so are you ready for some truly great news? Like you don't already know. Yuta Watanabe has been linked to the Suns. Before we get into that, hit the like button for us and tell us in the comments, are you looking forward to Yuta going to Phoenix? Or do you think it's not a good fit? Let you tell me what you like about him.
I mean, you know why I like him. Third right Sundo's in the house, baby. No, I'm joking. But no, I really like him just because I feel like he's just another Cam Johnson. You know what I mean? I feel like we really like Cam Johnson. We lost Cam Johnson in that trade for Kevin Durant. And watching this guy play, seeing the scouting report on him, it almost seems like he's literally just Cam Johnson. You know, same size, same style in the way he plays. Plays great defense, similar style defense to Cam Johnson. Dude shot a killer shooting percentage whenever Kevin Durant was on the same team as him in Brooklyn. So yeah, there's just a lot of like here about Yuta. You know, I like him a lot. I think he's a great replacement and exactly what we need for this Suns team moving forward.
He did the bulk of his scoring last season when he really popped and everybody was talking about him. With Kevin Durant, he was shooting 57.1% from three at one point. Ended up the end of the season, with just a measly 44.4%. But to be fair, he wasn't shooting a lot of threes because having Cam Johnson on the Nets and having Mikal Bridges took up a lot of his playing time. He got down to the point where he's only shooting 2 threes per game, but he was hitting one. I can't wait to see him back with Kevin Durant in a bigger role where he's getting 6 to 7 3-point attempts per game.
Yeah, I agree. The one thing I'm excited about him is he seems to be very underrated on defense. I looked at the scouting report of him coming in, and I mean, there was a lot of he's not a good athlete, may struggle to guard quicker players, may need to add strength. But from what I've seen of him playing, he seems like he's very fundamentally sound, where a lot of stuff's not going to matter. He's going to have the fundamentals down when he plays defense, and he's a very underrated defender. I mean, his nickname was Swatanabe for a reason, because he seemed to just always come up with blocks at the right time, and just very underrated defense. If people just want to, just go Google, just on YouTube right now, Yuta Watanabe highlights, and you will see a lot of sneaky defensive plays that I think will go great. And like I said, once again, like you mentioned, him on this team, whether he's in the starting lineup, which he potentially could be at this point, who knows what's going to happen with this team, or coming off the bench, having a 3-and-D player like him that can spot up in the corner, shoot, or guard a player whenever if we switch, because I don't know how Vogel's going to do, but we did switch a lot last year. I would feel confident with him guarding most positions on the court if we were to still remain with the whole switching thing that we did last year. So yeah, there's just a whole lot to like here.
You know what's really funny is this wouldn't even be the first time that the Suns had a Japanese player named Yuta on the roster. Believe it or not, donning Devin Booker's number 1 jersey, the Suns trotted out 5'8" Yuta Taboose at point guard in the 2004-2005 season for 4 games. They couldn't even find little Brody a pair of shorts that fit.
Man.
Seriously, they did not have to do him like this. But
Taboose had no caboose for them shorts.
But this new Yuta is built completely different. Checking in at a complete foot taller at 6'8". He can fill a much needed role, like you were saying, on the Suns wing. Here's the players that the Suns currently have on the roster. Devin Booker, the heart and soul of the franchise. Kevin Durant, the hired assassin. CP3, old and probably on the way out. DeAndre Ayton could also be on the way out. Campaign, looks like Master Splinter. Landry Shamet, Phoenix, Arizona's most hated. And that's it. The Suns have a team option on Ish Wainwright, who, because the Suns are lacking so much in depth, I don't think I would even be upset about keeping Ish.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind keeping him either, especially at this point. The contract's not that big of a contract, right? I mean, now granted, you probably could pull some Houdini stuff and cut him and bring him back or whatever. Yeah, his contract's not that big. It's not a huge one. And I think, once again, with the way this team is probably going to be built moving forward, he is a defensive guy. So, why not keep him on the squad? What I really like about Yuta, to bring it back to him, man, it once again, he just seems to have a complete package of fundamentals. And I can't express that enough, how important that is to this team, because with Monty Williams' tenure, there didn't seem to be a whole lot of fundamentally sound ethics being taught. I've always brought that up, where we needed players to do the right thing. How many times last year, Gabe, did I say, hey, can we have somebody just do the right thing? Can somebody just do the right thing? Especially toward the end, where KD was hurt and we needed to start winning some games, because we were really in a fight for the 4th and 5th seed, and we were trying to figure out where we were positioned. And there was a lot of times where I was like, can somebody do the right thing? Can somebody please make the right pass? Can somebody please dribble the ball not into the double team and get the ball out? There was a lot of complaints that I had in those later games about nobody being fundamentally sound. This guy seems to be it, right? He seems to be coached well, coming up through high school. He seems to be coached really well as far as making the right move, making the right passes, being in the right position on defense. And so, once again, a complete package. And I think he would fit in very well. And I do like this. I do like the fact that he's linked to us. And I think it makes perfect sense.
By this point, we all know that you combine our lack of depth with the absolutely minuscule amount of money that Phoenix has to play with, thanks to the new CBA from hell. And you understand that the Suns are going to need some veteran minimum contracts to really pan out. Not the way that D. Lee and Okogie panned out. I'm talking even a step further. And I think that's where in steps our new Japanese baby face shooter. Like I said, he's 6'8" with a perfect stroke. Pause. Who does that remind you of? And you said Cam Johnson. He's not as talented as Cam Johnson, but he's really, really nice for the price that the Suns should be able to land him at. I suspect it'll be more than a minimum contract, but they're saying minimum contract, so we'll see how that works. And aside from shooting and playing off of Durant well, he's been able to prove that he can get to the rim a little bit, and he has decent touch when he gets there.
And to bring back your minimum contract point, like I think the reason why we're hearing a lot about these minimum contracts is because of, like you mentioned, I think the new CBA is going to stop getting a lot of these players paid a whole lot of money. I think GMs are going to really crunch down and say, hey, we can't give you the automatic $10 million contracts that we were just handing around, before the CBA. I think they really got strapped down. So I think when you're seeing a lot of these players and you're seeing a lot of minimum contracts mentioned, I think it's because the market's about to shape up to where these GMs are going to say, nah, we're not going to give you 8. We're not going to give you 7. We're not going to give you 10. We're not going to give you 12. We're going to give you the minimum. I think that's what you're going to see moving forward. And that's why I think we have a good shot at landing him, because I think that's what's going to happen. I think there's going to be a lot of GMs out there saying, hey, minimum. And he's going to have connections to Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant, like you said, is going to be in his ear telling him, hey, you're going to like it here. Please come to Phoenix. And I think it's going to bode well. So I'm really hoping this is as good as done, right? Because I really do like this player.